stand up now and give you once. Okay.
To my speech proper, I want to refer to General So when he was reading my CV. And I was wondering when he said I was unit finance officer in 65, everybody got interested. Please, let's have it on record that it's not the kind of fire he knows finance. Then secondly, when he said, before my appointment as acting chief of army staff, I was commander in infantry corps, the largest corps in the army. I saw Major General S.G. Mohammed, chuckle in the man, this mass infantry. I heard him from here. It's a mass infantry. Well, that's on the light note. The chief of the first staff, General Christopher Gwabi Musa, Royal Farrell, the representatives of Chief of Naval Staff or Chief of Air Staff, the Chief of Defense Intelligence, the Chief of Policy and Plans Army, the departmental chiefs and principal staff officers from Defense and Army Headquarters, the Director General Defense Research Development Bureau, the Chief of Defense Space Administration, directors from Defense and Army Headquarters, senior officers, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I wish to thank God for the privilege to be here today. I also want to thank Mr. President for finding me worthy to discharge this responsibility as the acting chief of army staff in this particular, peculiar, and sober situation we find ourselves as a nation and an army. As highlighted by the presidency in the announcement, my appointment as acting chief of army staff is simply to hold sway while Lieutenant General T. Lagbaja, Medical Chief of Army Staff, is a way to enable him to take sufficient time to get necessary medical attention and recuperate. And that I intend to do with the whole of my heart and loyalty to the Constitution, as well as Mr. President, and by extension to my leader, Lieutenant General T. Lagbaja, that I have been mandated to stand in for. As we journey through this unique period, I request that we all continue to pray for General Lagbaja's speedy recovery and safe return to complete the excellent job he has started. Furthermore, I seek everyone's support and cooperation so that we can succeed together in stemming all forms of insecurity currently being witnessed across the country and return this beautiful country to the land of peace and economic prosperity. Well, this is not a speech-making occasion, and therefore, I will just wrap up by pledging my unalloyed loyalty to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and my appointing authority in the person of Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Long live the Nigerian Army. Well, I want to wrap up by saying that I will remain Olufemi Oluyede. Thank you very much.
Appeal to all of us. Nigeria is going through several challenges, especially on security. We need all hands on deck. This is one main reason where the President Commander-in-Chief decided to appoint the acting chief of army staff so that there will be continuity to avoid any gap. We cannot afford to lay back and allow insecurity to continue to prevail. So it is important that we all understand this clearly and give the acting chief of army staff all the support to make sure he's successful. Then Lagbaja is somebody we all know. We all know him as a regimented fine officer. We will not want any gap to occur in his absence. And in that case, that is why this event is taking place. So I want what makes the difference. We must continue to work as a team. We must make Nigeria safe. The Commander-in-Chief, in clear terms, has given us that mandate, and every time we meet, he reiterated that clearly. He does not want any rancor in between us. We must work together as a team. And so I want to count on every one of us that is here. Individually and collectively, we must ensure our commanders out there in the field are doing what they are supposed to do, and we give them the necessary support. So once again, thank you very much for coming, and God bless us all.
Chief of Staff, Headquarters 13 Brigade, Deputy Chief of Staff, G-Line, Headquarters 1 Division, Commandant and Previous Training School, Brigade Commander 27 Task Force Brigade, Sector Commander, Sector 2 Operation African, Senior Research Fellow, Nigerian Army Resource Center, was also Director of Plans at Army Quarters, Department of Army Policy and Plans, General Officer, 6th Division Nigerian Army Port Harcourt, was also Director attended a course at National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies School, just as a member of SET 36 2024. Lieutenant Oluyede also participated in various missions and operations before Operation Latvia Bole. Please, I request to give a round of applause for this request. Senior officers, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, may I respectfully invite the Chief of Defense Staff, General C.J. Musa-Oyepa, to present this document. C.J. Sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The Acting Chief of Army Staff, Major General Oluyede, representative of the service chiefs, the Chief of Policy and Plans Army and other services, departmental chiefs and principal staff officers from Defense and Army Headquarters, the Director General Defense Research Development Bureau, Chief of Defense Space Administration, Director from Defense and Army Headquarters, senior officers, gentlemen of the press, ladies. I'm sure we're all aware that the event today is something that is new, that's never happened in the history of the armed forces of Nigeria. But as human beings, we know situations will always present itself, and what is done with the situation is what makes the difference. Our brother and our friend, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tauri Biodun Lagbaja, went on his leave and went for his medical checkup and had reasons to stay behind to continue to do his medical checkup. It is our prayers that he will get better, fit enough to resume back as the Chief of Army Staff. In the interim, based on the powers conferred on the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, he has decided and directed and appointed an acting Chief of Army Staff with the full powers and responsibilities of the Chief of Army Staff until the President decides otherwise. So for us, as professionals, we are to continue with our task ahead. No gap to be left based on the challenges we have in the country. And it's in the wisdom of the President and Commander-in-Chief that today we present the authority to the Acting Chief of Army Staff for him to have full control and command of the Nigerian Army. Permit me to just go through a few words here. Reference A, which is the Presidential Directive by the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on 30th October 2024. Reference A conveyed the appointment of Major General Oluyede as the Acting Chief of Army Staff by the President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, on 30th August 2024. The President Commander-in-Chief directed that Major General Oluyede will act in position of the Chief of Army Staff pending the return of the undisposed substantive Chief of Army Staff. This is in line with the provisions enshrined in the Armed Forces Act, Cap A20, the laws of the Federation 2004, Part 7, Administration, Government and Command, Section 18, 1-4, Appointment of Service Chiefs, etc. Section 19, Powers of Command of Members of Cooperating Services, and Section 22.1, which states as follows. Part 7, Section 18, 1-4, Administration, Government, and Command, Appointment of Service Chiefs, etc. 1. The President may, after consultation with the Chief of Defense Staff and subject to confirmation by the National Assembly, and appoint such officers in these acts referred to as the Service Chiefs, as he thinks fit, in whom the command of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, as the case may be, and their reserves shall be vested. The Service Chief shall be known, in the case of the Nigerian Army, as the Chief of Army Staff, in the case of the Nigerian Navy, as the Chief of Naval Staff, in the case of the Air Force, as the Chief of Air Staff, subject to the terms of appointment of the Service Chiefs, and to such directions as to the operational use of Army, Navy, and Air Force as may be given under Section 8 of this Act. The Service Chiefs shall have the command, direction, and general superintendent of the Army, Navy, and Air Force, respectively, and their reserves. The President may, before consulting with the Chief of Defense Staff, consult with the Forces Council, but the question as to whether any consultation was held or what happened in the course of consultation shall not be inquired into. Section 19, Powers of Command of Members of Cooperating Services. Insofar as the power of command depends on ranking, a member of the Army, Navy, Air Force, or any of a military unit who is acting together with any of the services jointly or severally, either with or without his unit or any part thereof, shall have the like powers as a member of the corresponding rank of the respective service. And for purposes of an act or a mission relating to insubordination and like offense, that member shall be treated as if he were a member of the corresponding rank of the respective services. Section 22, regulation as to command. The President may make regulations as to the person in whom command over the establishment and unit or any member thereof is vested, as to the circumstance in which command as aforesaid is to be exercised, and without prejudice to the generality of the foregoing, may in such regulations provide for the duties, functions, and powers of command and staff of the armed forces. The aim is to note, this is a charge, responsibilities of the Chief of Army Staff. By this appointment, the responsibility of administering the Nigerian Army now rests on you. Your responsibilities are wide and varied, cannot be covered in this administrative note. This note is only an administrative procedure to formally usher you into your new responsibility and to guide you to immediately continue in administering the affairs of the Nigerian Army. It is expected that at the end of this formal event, you will be briefed extensively by the Chief of Policy and Plans Army and other principal staff officers at Army headquarters in the course of your duty. Accordingly, you are to note that your selection was based on your vast knowledge of military leadership at all levels, character, and competence. You are a member of a larger team of professional soldiers who are saddled with the responsibility of defending the territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria by land, sea, and air as captured in our Constitution. It is therefore expected of you to consolidate and improve on the course of the substantive Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General T. A. Lagbaja, as well as past Chief of Army Staff, in order to sustain the high level of professionalism, discipline, resilience, and regimentation that the Nigerian Army is known for all over the world. While I congratulate you on your appointment, I implore you not to rest on your oars in assuring that you justify the confidence reposed on you by the President, Commander-in-Chief. Congratulations once again, and God bless. Principal staff officers do not have the authority to hand over a command. It rests in the absence of the substantive Chief of Army Staff on the Chief of Defense Staff, who superintends on all the services. And that this note we're giving you stands in that phase. This is going to be in two phases. This is phase one. Phase two will be the usual one when you go back to the headquarters, they hand over the flag, the quarter guard, and the initial maiden address of the members of the officers, the principal staff officers, and very senior officers of the Nigerian Army. So this is, like I said, this is not the usual system, but because we have an unusual situation, we have to treat it as such. Thank you very much.